Hey wonderful zine friends, my name's Chloe Henderson and welcome back to coinoperatedpress. In today's video we're doing another zine review and we're talking all about this zine. So this is Ode to the Clitoris by Jenny Lester, and I picked up a copy of this last time we were hanging out in Blunt Knife and I love it so much, so I just had to review it for you today, especially as our theme last month in February was all about sex positivity for the zine that we were doing. It just felt appropriate to pick up this one and give it a little review. So yeah, let's check it out together. Jenny Lester is a poet and feminist creative from Edinburgh. She's a published poet and she often performs her spoken word poetry, and Ode to the Clitoris is a zine version of one of her poems of the same name. We can see a little... I don't want to give away the whole poem because I want you to buy a copy because it's very cool. But you can see there with the little flick through, it is a zine that takes a spoken word, writes it all out and adds some beautiful illustrations and is very, very colourful, which I enjoyed. I really enjoyed this poem. It's really funny, very well written, and the tongue-in-cheek nature that it was written in just drives the point home. It really suits the style of this poetry, and I find myself laughing throughout the whole thing. It's written from a heteronormative perspective, which makes complete sense given the context. I don't think we really need to be telling lesbians and bi girls that the importance of foreplay and clitoral stimulation. That's not something that y'all need to hear. And we start right out the gate with a statistic which sets the tone for the whole poem. During heterosexual penis-vagina intercourse, 90% of men orgasm, however 70% of women do not. And she finishes that with, "This is untenable. I personally believe orgasms are key to our freedom, so I have written an ode to the clitoris." And that very much sets the tone for the rest of the poem. She goes on to wax lyrical about how awesome the clitoris is, which is fantastic, and I'm gonna be using the term budgie's tongue so much more often. I just thought that was hilarious. And then we end up with a step-by-step guide for women who are not achieving their orgasm, including step one, which is dump him, which is so funny. And throughout the whole thing we've got these like little sort of clip art illustrations, similar to like a lot of use of emojis, which sort of makes me feel like when I was reading it that it was like a text conversation that I was having, and to me that just made it so much more funny. I'm not sure if that was the intention or not, but that was just the feeling that I got while I was reading it, and I really enjoyed that. It really added to the experience of this one. It felt a lot more performative in that way. And as I said, I love how colourful it is. I mean, you can see all the different coloured pages here. It's very cool. In our month of sex positivity and in our zine of the same title, we were talking a lot about how sex should be without shame and how we should experience our sexual pleasures, our fetishes, our kinks without shame. And this poem and zine is shameless, and I say that as a compliment. I find it really weird that the word shameless has a context of negativity around it. Surely we want to be going through our lives without shame. Being shameless is a type of freedom in itself, and this poem is certainly shameless. We shouldn't feel shame in our own sexual pleasure, and we should not be afraid to ask for what we want, what we need. And that's what the Ode to the Clitoris is. It's funny, it's silly, and that's part of what makes this poem fantastic. I'd highly recommend grabbing yourself a copy of this zine just for a little laugh, to enjoy yourself, and maybe like passive aggressively give it to your partner if they're not meeting your sexual needs. It's definitely a good gift for those people. Jenny also has a fantastic blog where she talks all things feminism, and you can see more examples of her poetry there as well, so I'll leave that link down in the description below. She also talks a lot about her love for tabletop gaming and board gaming, and I definitely want to dive into that side of her blog. It looks fantastic and I'm super interested to see what she's got to say. So I'll leave all of the links down in the description below, and I'll also leave a link to her Etsy shop where you can buy this. Or for Edinburgh locals, you could pop into Blunt Knife, which is on Thistle Street, and buy a copy in person. I also wanted to quickly show you this little zine, which is another one by Jenny that I picked up at the same time when I was in Blunt Knife because I was just so attracted by the cover. I mean, I love myself a little bee, so I just had to pick this up as well. So this one starts off as a poem about how to save the bees, and then turns out to be a poem all about how to save the bees in all of us. Basically, as slaves to capitalism, how we're all busy little bees working away to our deaths and enslaved in big corporations that are slowly killing us. So it starts off quite nice and turns quite dark, but in it it's quite hopeful, and it's really informative as well, and it works really well in a zine format. So if you're going to pick up this zine, I'd highly recommend getting this one as well. And also, when I was checking out Jenny's Etsy shop, she does some really cool pin badges which I definitely want to buy. I'll stick an image of them on screen just now because they're really cool and I definitely want to get some. So I think as soon as I finish filming this, I'm off onto her Etsy shop to buy myself more pins, which I definitely don't need, but I really want because they're so cute. And to check out more of Jenny's work, you can follow her on @JennyNotJenny, and as it says here, if you like this poem, you can tweet @JennyNotJenny to give her praise, because all poets crave validation. As an artist, I totally feel that. I get where you're coming from, Jenny, so make sure to check her out on all of her socials, and you can leave her praise for this poem if you decide to buy a copy, which I'd highly recommend you do because it's awesome. Thank you so much for watching this short and sweet zine review. I hope you enjoyed it, and I hope you want to stick around to see more of our zine reviews in the future. Do hit that subscribe button if you don't want to miss out on any of our zine reviews, and do pop back a video as you can check out Katie's zine review of Depressed Girl Seeks Houseplant, which is a fantastic little zine. I'd highly recommend checking that out, and I'll leave that link down in the description below as well. You can also follow us on all of the socials @coinoperatedpress, and you should join our Discord as well, where we talk even more about all of the lovely zines that we're into, and I'll leave all of that down in the description below as well. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in our next zine review. Bye!